please welcome Nicola Roberts.
Hi.
And we're quite short on time because Nicola's got to shoot off and get a train back to London, but 21 UK top 10s, 4 number 1s, an acclaimed solo album, actress, West End, and winner of The Masked Singer.
Thank you.
Wow, and so much more. But radio for you has played a massive part in your career, hasn't it?
I mean, absolutely. In any pop stars, pop bands, is, you know, you rely on radio. And I think, especially when we started in 2002, it was definitely before social media, so we were hugely relying on radio to play our songs to get that chart position. So for us, absolutely, and it was important for us, especially, you know, before Bauer bought everything, before Global bought everything. You'd have to go make those personal trips to each individual radio station to form that connection. You know, you're scratching their back and they're scratching yours, so that then they playlist your song. And ultimately we did end up having 21 consecutive playlisted songs at Radio 1. So it's hard work to do the rounds.
Yeah, what was those like, those radio tours? Because, you know, I've been in the station when you're coming in, but you'll have done another 5 stations that day, and you're on a week full, and you're travelling from Land's End, John O'Groats.
The same questions is...
So when
really
did you get the album title from? When's the new single out?
Yeah, literally. Or like whatever was happening in the tabloids at that time with one of your members, that would always then be like, how are we going to navigate around this? And especially if it was a live interview, it would just be like, you'd go in thinking, oh my God, please God, please let them be kind.
Because I remember interviewing you when I did the chart. And I remember you were number 1 that week and announcing it in front of you all. I can't remember which song it was. It was about 2004.
Stand By You?
Yeah, probably Stand By. Yeah, it was Christmas time, wasn't it? Near Christmas?
Yeah, maybe so. It was the Children in Need.
Yeah, and I remember that. I remember just the excitement in the studio of that going to number 1 and everything.
Yeah, it's hard because like you're in the car, you're on a tour and you're tired.
Yeah. And
it's like your 7th station of the day or whatever it is, and then you go in and people would be so happy to see you that you'd make the trip and come. So it would be an instant like mood booster because you'd reciprocate that positive energy, and you'd do the interview, and if it went well, you'd leave and go, that was so good, and then your radio plugger's like, well done, girls. That's just secured us another how many slots. Like,
do you remember the first time you heard your song on the radio?
Actually, the first time I heard Sound of the Underground was on our video shoot. I think we got into the band on the Saturday or the Sunday, and then we were shooting the video on the Monday, and it was on in the trailer, and we were all sat round and listening to it.
Because you were up against, going back, it was One True Voice and Girls Aloud, wasn't it? One True Voice, whatever happened to One True Voice?
Yeah, and interestingly, at the time, throughout the competition, Capital was supporting the boys. So Capital decided we're not going to play the girls' song, even though our song was way better. We're not going to play the girls, we're going to play the boys, we're going to support the boys because that's just the natural derivative.
Yeah.
So Polydor, on the boys' first interview at Capital, Polydor bought every single ad break. So every time the boys were speaking and then it'd go to an ad, you'd hear Davina go, bye girls, bye boys. and then of course the song did 600,000 units. And they switched to supporting the girls and they dropped the boys.
Wow.
So it's that internal politics of radio as well, which is like hard, you know, as the artist who just wants their song on radio or just wants to sing, and it's the internal politics between radios and labels and pluggers that the artist kind of sometimes suffers for.
And comparing that to now, I mean, we're in a completely different landscape when it comes to how we break new music. Radio still plays a massive part in that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, you know, is it any longer the gatekeeper or whatever? It still has a huge part to play, but you know, breaking an artist these days is different, but radio still has a huge part to play in that.
I think that with everything, as time changes, everything has to shift, and everything has to then become relevant to the certain time. So, like, obviously, when we first started, there was no social media. The internet had literally just come. It was dial-up.
Ask Jeeves.
So, literally Ask Jeeves.
Search engine.
So I think that obviously now we have I mean, TikTok is king, right?
Yeah.
There's literally like a song will go in at the chart because it's big on TikTok. It's how radio is then going to navigate in this new era when social media is, well, TikTok is so prevalent, especially with the youth, when as an industry, whether it's TV, radio or media, we're also focused on the new and the young. But if they're moving to online, what does radio do?
What should we do you think?
I'm not in radio, I've got no idea. I just write the song.
But as a songwriter and an artist and an actress, you know, when you do hear your music on the air, that must be a special.
It's so special.
If you're flicking up and down the dial,
Yeah, it's so
you're
special.
nipping to the shop.
Absolutely. I mean, and also like, I grew up without social media. We grew up with radio. Like, you get in the car every day and you put the radio on as a young person. So the magic of radio is still in me because I remember it before social media. So even now you know, if you go into a store and the radio's on and your song comes on, it's still magical because it's ingrained in like your upbringing of how, you know, what's important.
So you hear an early Girls Aloud song and you're just punching through the dial.
I'm always like, oh, it's interesting that they chose that one. I wonder why they chose that one today.
And then do you listen to it are you excited that other people are hearing it and it's still there? Because, you know, you look at the body of work that you all did. It is truly incredible. Those are wonderful. And I'm guessing they were written and produced in a way to sound great on the radio.
Well, we were so fortunate in that we had the most incredible production team in Xenomania and we had a fearless A&R in Colin Barlow. So I think that Sound of the Underground really set the bar. And following that, everything had to be as creatively ruleless. And I think that when we then got to biology, and it was just, let's throw everything into the pot, and we still were playlisted, and it was a hit. It was like, we can do anything. In terms of creativity, we can literally go from this chord progression to this chord progression to this, and it doesn't matter. Like, it's, as long as Xenomania did it seamlessly, it was great.
Can we, very quickly, because I know we're short on time, just talk about The Masked Singer?
Yeah.
Because this showed your vocal ability like we've never heard before. It's and we've just been chatting backstage about this, and I've learnt something that if we've all seen The Masked Singer, and I assumed that you sung to track.
No.
When you were Queen Bee, and you go on to win this thing, you actually sing it with the whole outfit on.
Yeah, it's live, and you get one time to do it. It's like when you watch it now, knowing that, please watch it with a whole load of different respect because those contestants are going through it. Especially the guys in, like, I was lucky because I was quite free in my outfit, but the guys like Monster or Octopus, who are very much like in a straitjacket, to then sing in the heat it's a lot. But it's the most wonderful show.
I mean, there's a whole respect for you and everyone that performs on that anyway, but you know, there's a whole newfound respect in the fact that you're performing with a headset on in a very tight space. And you have to give the performance of it. This is on television. You know, people are seeing this. Yeah,
and you get one time to do it. I actually, the second year when I went back to panel, I said to Davina, I'd much rather just be back in the B than on the panel. And then when I went back last season and sang with Mark, who was just a dream come true to me, I was back in the B thinking, I'd much rather just be on the panel. It's just too much.
And you talked about your incredible vocal ability. Do we get to hear some new music soon or anything?
I am working on stuff, but I'm quite... my level of expectation for myself is like quite like stiflingly high. Yeah. So it's like if I think it's good, then fine. But if it's not, then it's not. But I'm working with some great people. Oh, I can't wait to hear it. Will you please give a big... Thank you so much. Please give a big welcome and thank you to the amazing Nicola Roberts.